I have had the Steam Machine for a few weeks now, and here's how it's going. So let me start this off by saying I am a console gamer. I have a PS5 Pro, I have a Switch 2, I have a Steam Deck OLED, so that is why I was really interested in the Steam Machine to test, because I really liked my Steam Deck, and besides the price, the Steam Machine seemed very compelling. No, I'm not a PC gamer, which is kind of where most people that the Steam Machine is aiming towards, because you want PC level gaming, using Steam, but you want the console-like experience, just picking up your controller, hitting a button, and everything turns on. So here are my thoughts and my experience with the Steam Machine after a few weeks. So I was very fortunate and was chosen to get a Steam Machine. The only reason why I got it was to make reviews, because I was very happy with my PS5 Pro, my Switch 2, and my Steam Deck, but I was very interested and curious about all the hype about the Steam Machine. So I went ahead and paid my over $1,000 for this guy, the 512GB model, and the remote. It came in, and initial setup was very good. You just plug it in. Since I got the controller with it, it was already on the correct firmware update, and I was able to just get it up and running, and that part was really, really easy. So after I had it all set up, it just sat there in my entertainment system. I didn't really feel the need to play it. And one of the biggest reasons for why I didn't want to play it was because the controller does not have a headphone jack. Isn't that crazy? Alright, let me explain. It's not as crazy as it sounds. My DualSense controller for my PS5 and my Pro controller for my Switch 2 both have headphone jacks. And I love the Apple EarPods. EarPods, I think that's what they're called. They're just the wired EarPods. You put them in your ears. They have open backs. You can hear everything around you. But then the sound quality is just phenomenal. And instead of having a Bluetooth device, Bluetooth headphones, that I have to constantly switch which device it's paired to, I just unplug the aux port and plug it into the next controller. And I have used that for months, years actually, and I absolutely love it. I don't have to worry about anything being charged, and it just works. So, and my Steam Deck also has an aux jack. So whenever I was holding my Steam Deck, I would take the same pair of earpods, I would plug that in to my Steam Deck. The Steam Machine not having an aux jack on their controller added another layer of friction for me, and every time I wanted to play on the Steam Machine, I ended up just grabbing the Steam Deck, because most of the time, like, my wife and kids were in the room, and so I didn't want it to be blasting sound on the big TV. So I would just pick up the Steam Deck and I would play the same game that way. So it was just another layer of friction. And the big selling feature of the Steam Machine was CEC. So you click one button, it turns on your console, turns on your TV, and you're ready to game. Great in concept, but in my setup, it failed atrociously. I think it's my Samsung TV's fault, because I have a PS5, an Apple TV, and a Switch 2 all connected to the same TV, and they're all submitting just little tiny packets to the HDMI CEC splitter being like, hey, I'm ready to wake up. So I came to the problem when I would turn on the Steam Machine, it worked flawlessly. It was beautiful. One click of the Steam controller and it worked. When I went to turn it off, I powered off the Steam Machine, or put it to sleep. The TV would not turn off. It would look for a new input. It would see that the Steam Machine was recently on, and so I guess it's still waiting for a signal, and it would turn back on my Steam Machine. It was a forever loop, and one night it turned on multiple times, and then my TV would turn back on, and it would just be glowing in the middle of the night. And so I had to disable most of the CE settings just to make it not do that. And then I could turn on the TV, and then to turn it off, I had to grab my remote, which defeats the whole purpose. The perfect setup is everything's turned off. You grab a controller, you hit a button, the TV turns on, goes to the right input, that's a big one, and then the console turns on, and everything is just ready to play and connected. So for me, that's another line of friction, knowing when I'm done with gaming, I need to find this remote. Then it keeps getting lost in the couch cushions, behind the couch, under, you know how remotes are. They run away. They've got legs. So now I have to keep track of a remote again. And so the Steam Machine didn't solve that problem for me. And then we do have to talk about the elephant in the room, the price. This Steam Machine came out at the worst time possible, at the worst price possible. When you compare apples to apples versus a PS5, an Xbox, even a PC, this is not great. The gaming quality is less or equal to a base PS5, and you're paying over $1,000 for that. You just can't ignore that. If I absolutely love this thing, a lot of people will be turned off because of the price. You just can't get around that. So again, I got it for reviewing it, but I don't even know if I want to keep it anymore. I know there's a lot of people who absolutely love the form factor. It is nice and small. It's really, really cool, and what it can do is phenomenal, and I'm glad that Valve made it. I just wish that it wasn't so expensive. And yes, this is a full Linux gaming machine. You can even put Windows on it. So it is a computer. So there might be a way to justify it not as just a gaming device. I know Linus Tech Tips loves it as his daily driver for his computer, but it's Linux, so if you're not used to that, that's a whole new learning curve. Linux is not that bad, but paying $1,000 for a okay machine, a lot of people can't swallow that pill, and I can't even recommend it. Most people who talk to me about what to get either say, get a PS5, but remember you're locked into that ecosystem. They're getting rid of physical games, and Sony's just being kind of bad right now. But with the Steam Machine, it's a really good machine, does what you want, but it's just really expensive, and you can build your own. Well, it depends on if RAM prices by the time this comes out. It's still possible to build your own and have better specs than this. So as you could probably tell, I'm a little biased. I have a PS5 already. I have a Switch 2. So what about the person who is just getting into gaming? Well, if you don't want to worry about anything, you don't want to worry about searching your own parts, finding the right graphics card, finding the right CPU, a case, building your own, getting the best deal, chasing all of that, the Steam Machine is actually pretty cool because it is just plug and play, it works with Steam, and it's actually a really good gaming device, especially at 1080p 60. It can play some 4K games, but a lot of that is upscaling. So if you have a budget of $1,000, you want a computer that is quiet and small and just does what you want it to do. Like for gaming, you just connect the controller. And again, my problem was probably my TV. If you connect it to a monitor setup, then it could be really, really good. So I don't want to bash the Steam Machine. The biggest problem is its price, and that's just because of the RAM crisis we're in. If this thing came out less expensive, then yeah, I would be recommending this to a lot of people. So if you have the budget and you are really interested in getting a Steam Machine, if you get on the wait list and they accept you, then if this is going to be your end-all be-all and you want to start using Linux as an operating system, or you could put Windows on it, but if this is going to be your computer and your gaming machine, then there's real potential for this. It's a good machine. It's just when you compare to the PS5 and the other, what you could build with like your a PC, build something like that from, piecing it together. Again, it's a good machine. It's just not for me because I have already been on the other side of the fence and my PS5 is not going anywhere. What I will say is the controller does feel fantastic. I really like how this controller feels. So good job, Valve. When the Steam Machine was first announced, a lot of people speculated it'd be about $500 to $600. And for that price, I was really excited for it. I was going to get it, just put in my entertainment system, and whenever I had a game that I bought from the Steam sales that, wasn't overpowered, didn't need PS5 Pro graphics, it's just a simple game on a great deal, and I don't mind switching to another platform to play it, it would just be there. So if it was $500 to $600, I think I could swallow the differences that it had. Not having an aux jack, that's just me. A lot of people, you use Bluetooth. Go for it. So that solves that problem. The CEC, I was just hoping that that's because what it was supposed to solve that problem with being on your TV, you power it up, it turns everything on and everything works. So because I had that issue, it made my $1,000 that I spent a lot harder. It made it so sad because I spent all this money and it didn't solve any problems, and my PS5 does work and works better. The PS5 is a better gaming console. So it just depends on where your library is at. If you're already a PS5 player, just stick with that unless you disagree with what Sony is doing and then you want to move off. The Steam machine runs Steam and you can get really good games at a really good price. Again, they are just digital, but you can play whatever you want on the Steam machine because there are competitors, so pricing will be good. But again, I think it really comes down to price. If the Steam machine could have come at a better price, I think it would have been a knockout hit. And don't get me wrong, it seems to be a knockout hit. A lot of people are buying the Steam machine, but I think it's because it's something new, it's something cool, and a lot of them are creators wanting to test the waters, and some people will absolutely love it, and some people will just go back to their PS5 or their gaming PC. But I don't know, it's not really for me, and I wish it was. I love Valve, I love Steam. The Steam machine is just too expensive and too underpowered for what you get. So anyway, that's my thoughts using the Steam machine for a few weeks. Hopefully this helps you out if you were debating on buying one or not. Hopefully my experience on what it can do and what it can't do and just my thoughts on it. Again, if you own a PS5 or already have a gaming machine, then I don't think you need this guy. But if you're just starting out and you just want a plug and play system that is phenomenal, again, for a really high price, then yeah, the Steam machine could be it. So anyway, that's all my thoughts on it. I will talk to you in the next video.